remember, we had 3 reasons you should log your property if it hasn't been managed properly already. How's forwarding going?
Pretty good. Get more brush and dirt in there if we can.
So it's less slippery?
Ain't too bad.
Yeah.
Some of it's debarking, that's not good.
So today we're going to answer the question for people in the video. Why logging? Why should a landowner care?
This is easy right here. You look at all the dead ash trees.
Exactly. We should point out to the people that these trees are diseased with the emerald ash borer, right?
See the ones over there in the background, they got hardly any leaves left on them.
We'll zoom in over there for them. You can see that one is almost completely dead, or is it completely dead already?
Yeah, it might be a couple.
Yeah.
It'll be dead in a few weeks for sure. That wood on the bottom of the bunk from one of them big trees.
Yep.
In the back, it's rotting. It would have been logs or bolts, but it's been dead long enough, it's getting soft.
So the landowner in this instance waited too long to get his value out of his timber, on top of keeping his forest healthy, right? You heard Uncle Kevin mention it, and you're going to hear me mention it a few times in this video. One of the main reasons to cut your property is timber health, or forest health. The idea here is to make a sustainable forest. And our equipment is just one tool of the trade in which to achieve that. Now I harvest the trees with this machine, and the forwarder, which you just saw, is what picks them up and moves them to the landing, and then the log truck hauls them to the mill, where then it is processed into whatever raw product you or I use every single day. Now there's lots of diseases your timber can have. The main reason we're cutting this is the emerald ash borer. The tree in the harvester head right there is an ash. Now what happens with them is there's this bug called the emerald ash borer, hence the disease name, and it burrows in the cambium layer of these trees. Let's hop in the machine. We're going to cut this tree down, and I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. Now we're gonna put our ladder up because I forgot. Back up and cut that tree down. Okay, now let's cut this tree over here and I'll show you what I mean. You can see this tree is entirely dead. I'm gonna run the tree back and forth in the harvester at a couple extra times, just so I can debark it a little bit for you guys, so I can give you a little better view of what I'm talking about. After I get them in the pile, we'll go take a peek at what I'm talking about exactly. This tree is already entirely dead as well. Just trying to uncover some of those track marks I mentioned. You can really see them well here. This is the cambium layer that bug is burrowing in. as that bug burrows in the cambium layer, that's what moves nutrients top to bottom, bottom to top in these trees. So they start to branch out with all these little sucker branches you're seeing as the disease progresses more, and eventually the trees can't produce enough sucker branches to cope and they die. Remember, we had 3 reasons you should log your property if it hasn't been managed properly already. Reason 2 is pretty simple. It's money for the landowner. Consider these trees your crop, and finally harvesting them when done properly is 1, as you see, good for the land, and 2, creates a source of revenue for a landowner to pay taxes, do property improvement, things like that. While I spoke of removal of diseased trees, the 3rd and best reason to cut timber on your property is to make room for a new, healthy generation of timber for future generations like myself or your son, your daughter. It's really the best reason. Cutting timber for these reasons creates sustainability and helps to create products that you and I use every day, like your cell phone. Did you know your cell phone's a forest product? The silicon behind the, or not silicon, cellulose behind the screen is actually, now among other reasons to cut your property, aside from just diseased timber, is mature timber in which to make room for more trees to grow. Like a hardwood thinning, we do that a lot in the Midwest. Thinning is one of my favorite types of cut to do, in which to just make room for trees to continue to reach maturity. Kind of like when you see a goldfish get only as big as its environment allows it to be. Now, in addition to the emerald ash borer disease, there are other timber diseases that are very, very common in the Midwest area in which I log. Of these diseases, one that I see most common would be the budworm disease, which affects solely the spruce and the balsam fir. Beech bark disease is another real common one that I am seeing more and more in our area. What you see on those trees is a white, fluffy coloring on the outside, and that's what the aphid that's creating this disease, the bark disease, is leaving behind. Now, these are just a few of the diseases that might be in your area. I highly suggest that you talk to either a forester or a reputable local logger in your area and find out what's best for you and your property.